Okay, are you doing the YouTube thing or am I supposed to?
No, it's letting me push it out.
Okay, good. Because I was like, I need lessons now. Yeah. Okay.
All right, there's mute. Oops.
Gosh.
Zoom. Zoom phone, Zoom. Sorry, everyone. The gremlins caught up into our systems on us today. So we're kind of making it work. All right, Mikey, if you go up to the right-hand side, there you go. This is Guilds of Requiem, Space Station Requiem, and the Steampunk Monthly Unit. We are combining the three because we have got some really fantastic news if you haven't already seen it on our websites. Below are the 3 email addresses to reach each of the individuals. Individual programs. Guilds of Requiem is the parent organization. Space Station Requiem and the Steampunk Unit are both what we call gilded projects. We're going to try to keep it short and sweet tonight. It's been a very long day for many of us. On our agenda is going to be our monthly reporting for Guilds of Requiem, Space Station Requiem, and the Steampunk Unit, along with a recap of Ren Fair Bandera County and the Benteki Con Planning Committee. If anyone cannot hear me, please let me know. Go ahead and go to the next page, Mikey. Next. All right. We're going to start off with Guilds of Requiem Incorporated. This is our parent organization. We have some excellent news on our 501 status update. We're going to introduce you to the executive board directors, what it means being a nonprofit corporation means going forward to everybody. We're going to do our guild updates, which is just another name we have for our departments, and we're going to cover the formation of any new gilded projects. Next. Mikey, next screen. All right, as you can see, we did qualify for a nonprofit foundation, a nonprofit under the IRS. They labeled us as a private foundation, and that is because we have 3 purposes to our organization. Our first purpose being to network with other crafters, producers, technicians, you name it, we want to network with you. The second one being that we want to offer educational opportunities that coincides with our 7 guilds and all of our projects. And the third being the fact that we are heavily focused on community service. And that third part is what really is the major difference between a profit corporation and a non-for-profit corporation. It's something that we have been heavily doing since I first formed the sole proprietorship in 2017. Then when we formed as a Texas not-for-profit corporation in 2020, we did find out that the IRS did backdate our IRS nonprofit status to when we formed as a nonprofit corporation in the state of Texas. So go to the next screen, Mikey. Hooray! The conversation that I had with the IRS said that she had been doing this for 20-some years and she has never seen a nonprofit corporation get their IRS status in that quick of time. She said typically it takes 5 to 10 years unless all you're doing is pure community service. So who are our executive board of directors? Of course, you have myself. I'm Robin Kearney Frazier. We have our vice president, who is also our secretary, Mikey Lee Gravely. Our vice president and treasurer is Christopher Van Cleve. Vice president director is Matthew Frazier and Alexander Kearney. Gotten a couple of questions on why we have so many people. We want to try to keep it an odd number. That way, if there's any, if I need to abstain from something or somebody else needs to abstain from something, because we also run a particular guild that is impacted by a vote, we still have enough people to have a majority vote. Go ahead and go to the next page. And I'm sorry if I'm going to stumble over words and sound like I'm slurred. I was in the ER earlier and with a migraine and some other health issues. So anticipated changes. Back up a page. You want one page too far, Mikey? Okay. Are we missing a page? Huh. The first page was supposed to be for those who are involved with Guilds of Requiem. Internally, the changes are not a whole lot. Let me see if I can pull up on the computer what the screen was actually supposed to be. Yeah, there it is. Or is it duplicating it?
It's like it's duplicated for some weird reason, but I'm trying to. Yeah, it looks like it duplicated itself.
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
That's okay. Yep, I did it on mine too. Huh. I hate gremlins. I need a dragon to be an anti-gremlin. The first page was supposed to be for those who are a part of Guilds of Requiem. The anticipated changes are not going to be a whole lot because we were already doing business as a nonprofit. That's been our philosophy since day one. We are here for the networking, for the education and the community service aspect of everything. There are going to be a few changes in the fact that we will have to have monthly reporting from each of the gilded projects and the guilds. And we do have to have a monthly departmental meeting with all department heads. So we have opted to just include that in with Space Station Requiem and to have STEAMPunk unit all at the same time. It just makes it easier if we only have to remember one meeting versus 3 meetings. Okay, let's go ahead and for those who are involved with that we do business with, that means our vending quote unquote fees can now be classified as donations. We are already seeing an upward swing of potential business sponsors wanting to come in and help us out with our missions and philosophies. You can get paid, quote unquote, for time donated to working on Guilds of Requiem projects. We are going to be creating an SOP that will be limiting those people at this time, because for every hour you work or whatever you're claiming, we have to provide you with a receipt, and it has to be within reason. So we can't give you a $25,000 receipt stating, you know, that you donated $25,000 worth of time. That's going to get everybody audited. So who are our guilds and departments? We have our Agrarian Guild. They are in charge of anything that you raise or grow. Our Crafters Guild is anything that has to do with the arts and crafts. We have our Guardians Guild, that is our first responders, frontline workers, risk management, all medical services, including veterinarians and military service, whether you are active or reservist or a veteran. So what do we have to report with the Agrarian Guild? Earlier this week, I was planning on working on the website, and I woke up to discover that art and Instagram accounts all got deactivated. I have gotten them all the way down to just the Agrarian Guild was not working, so I found a workaround for it. All of our guilds do have a landing page on the website created. I'm still kind of up in the air on how we're going to work this. If we make them like their own mini site that we redirect to from the Guilds of Requiem, or yeah, I think that's probably what we're going to have to do, because we're starting to run low on space on the main page. What projects do we have coming up for the Agrarian Guild? We need to focus on getting our duck pond and pond filter completed, as we have 6 new ducklings. They're cute, adorable, and Henrietta is a very, very protective mom. We do have 6 more duckling eggs in the incubator because they were underneath Henrietta when all the other eggs hatched and she left them. They are still viable. We did candle them. They were about halfway through the process, so we're finishing them off in the incubator. Our next project is to work on getting the aquaponics grow tubes working and actually growing. We are setting 5 funds aside to cover and fully enclose the aquaponics. The multi-purpose to this is it prevents the introduction of new water into our system that we have to account for when we're balancing our pH, our minerals, and our temperature. And it reduces the amount of pests that can decide to eat on our lovely lettuce. We are expecting 12 chicks to hatch sometime within the last weekend of this month. We're hoping that we're going to be able to stick them underneath Henrietta during the night or introduce them to her in the middle of the night, so maybe she'll accept them. Unfortunately, she did not like the 3 chicks that were already in the grow out pen, and we ended up having an issue with them. We have tabled any expansion projects till next year, as we need to focus on our yard expansion and the ramp so that I have access in and out of the trailer. Our Homesteaders and Preppers Guild site has been templated. That is the same as the Requiem Home, Hearth, and Hearth group on Facebook. It just needs content before we link it to the main site. Go ahead and go to the next guild. Okay. Crafters Guild, that would be Miss Mikey. We had a motion made to update the name to Crafters and Artists Guild that we previously tabled because we had too much other stuff going on and we just couldn't focus on it. I will probably post that in the executive board because the feedback that I was getting is, well, I'm an artist, so why would I be in the Crafters Guild? And sometimes it's a matter of helping people understand that crafters are artists and artists are crafters when you boil down to it. We do have 3 projects in there, gilded projects in there, that I can currently remember. And if I miss one, somebody is free to help remind me. We have the Bards Guild of Requiem, the Gamers Guild of Requiem, and the Master Procrastinators of Requiem. And Tanya, you can help correct me if I'm wrong, but the Bards Guild is for cosplayers and anybody who does any sort of theater or entertainment. It's going to be how-tos on creating costumes and how to market, how to charge your rates, figuring out what your final goal is with being a bard, which is somebody who entertains. The Gamers Guild is exactly that. It is games and activities, whether it be physical in-person games, board games, online games, massive role-play games, LARPing, that all falls under the Gamers Guild of Requiem. Our Master Procrastinators, that covers pretty much everything that's a craft. Any sort of media that you use to craft, whether it's yarn to knit and crochet, and I know you don't use yarn to do both of them, but that's just all my brain can think of at the moment. If you do resin art, if you're a woodworker, which is different than a carpenter, that's pretty much the group that handles all of that. For the Guardians Guild, there was a motion made to the executive board for a gilded project for apical members to join. Right now, all we have is a private group in which we discuss different things that are risk management related, safety related, project related. It was proposed to me in the middle of Ren Fair that we have a specific gilded project for people who work in any of our target industries to network and join. The reason that this came up is that the group purchasing power for first aid certification courses, if you just go in and you're by yourself to get a first aid CPR certification, you're going to spend anywhere from $35 to $80 as an individual. But if we go in as a group of 10 or more, that cost drops down to $20 to $55, I believe they told me. So that's, that's one of the benefits of having a gilded project specific for that, is we can help some of these smaller agencies network with other agencies to get a group discount along with ourselves. Our current projects for the Guardians Guild is our first aid station. We are attempting to have a blended certification class on July 30th. What that means is you do all of your book learning online. We go to the place that is doing the certified training and demonstrate our hands-on knowledge, and we get our certificates. They are offering a group discount. I'm still waiting for the final amount and when their discount tiers are and how soon we have to have money to them. I'm noticing that once you get within the 30 days of dates that they have listed on the Red Cross website, the spaces become limited. So I'm suspecting it's probably going to be pretty quick that we will have to get the information out there and collect funds and send them off to the Red Cross, or they will give us a code to give to people who are wanting to be a part of that blended training opportunity. Our Service Dog Handlers Guild is seeking an experienced dog trainer. You do not necessarily have to be a service dog trainer, because a lot of the skills that are used for canine units and whether it's scent work or it's guard work or any type of work, whether you're training for a therapy dog, they all need to have a canine good citizen, which basically means that they're not going to attack another dog. Yes, even canine units should not be reactive to other dogs being present. And that was a very big distinction that was made to me by Deputy Andy. My understanding, she showed up with Cerberus on Sunday after I left at Ren Fair. So hopefully everybody got to see Cerberus. I do not know if he had all three heads on. He was not thrilled the day that they showed up with to work with Cletus. But yeah, they're seeking an experienced trainer. We do collect a kind of a meeting fee, so that if we have, if everybody pitches in $5, we will cover their gas, but everyone who's present at the training helps cover their time for providing their knowledge. If they don't have experience with the ADA laws, that's fine. I can work with them, but we are seeking an experienced trainer, preferably out in the Bandera area. All I'm going to say is potential new membership benefits is in the works. A proposal was made. She has taken it to her boss. They are taking it to their executive board meeting, which happens, I believe, she said the second week of June. So once we have that confirmed, then I'll put some information out. We did finish our semi-annual background check of board members and any STEAMPunk Aerodome captains. That's basically, our semi-annual one is we are checking to see if your name is now showing up on a sex offender registry. Our annual one, we also check to see if you have any pending charges against you, specifically crimes against a person. Those are, and of course, theft and fraud. We're very worried about those. That is everything on the Guardians Guild. Our next one is the Merchants Guild. That is everything that has to do with marketing and social media and event management. There was a motion made to the executive board members for the treasurer to be the guild master. The reason that this was made is because Merchants Guild is one of those where if somebody screws up, it'll make us or break us. And so kind of as a safety net, a board member is not gonna knowingly screw their own position. That's just the polite way to put it. It was passed, motion was passed with 4 votes, 2 abstains. And of course the current treasurer did not vote. For now, the president, which is myself, will continue to oversee the Merchants Guild during the onboarding process with the new guild master, which is Christopher Van Cleve. He is needing to take some, basically some financial courses, and I need to start show him, how to do website work and everything. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He's very excited as having this as the means to help support our household and the property that we live on. Projects that are with the Merchants Guild, we used to offer merchant services. And what that is web building services, SEO, website SEO. Oh, frick, I can't think of the word. Somebody goes in and looks at your SEOs on your website and gives you suggestions on how to make them better. They also make graphics, help with branding and everything else. That part right there has income potential. Whoever is in charge of the Merchants Guild and or merchant services, you have the ability to promote your skills out on the website and have income from it. That is compensation for your time. The other new thing that was added into the Merchants Guild is the Requiem event management. A lot of this has to do with the fact that it involves the exchange of money and marketing. But if you know how to do event management and you just want to be in charge of Requiem event management, this has income potential. We are heading into wedding season. We are heading into graduation. Well, graduations are already happening. In the fall and the winter, you've got all your holiday celebrations, all your holiday parties, anniversary parties. Anything that's an event that needs to be coordinated and have an event manager, you're able to do that. We won't say, no, you can't do that because it's not in line with the Guild of Requiem. We're going to help you understand event management and open up this avenue of income potential for you. We currently have the Vendors Guild, and that definition is an experienced vendor looking to network with Guilds of Requiem. We do have a contract in the works that was recommended to us by an attorney that is working with me, that we get a contract between anyone who is going to be essentially a contractor or a freelancer under the Guilds of Requiem. What is the membership fee? Because of course nothing is free. It's 5% of your website sales plus volunteer hours at Guilds of Requiem events. And that is because we do need to cover our expenses so that we can continue to keep our events as low cost as possible. Our second one has been around since day one of the marketplace up front, and that is our Vendors Apprentice Guild. And that can be any vendor, whether they are an adult, if they're a senior, somebody who's disabled, or a minor that's looking to have like a lemonade stand or start their own little their own little empire of slime or whatever. We're here to help them learn how to do that and make sure that they are doing it legally. And basically, it's somebody who's looking to take their passion from part-time to full-time. We do have the same assessment of 5% of website sales plus volunteer hours at Guilds of Requiem events. Once we have our websites built, I will be hopefully in a better position to focus on course development for everything across the board. Our Resources Guild, a motion was made to the Executive Board of Members for the Secretary to be our Resources Guild Master. This is that second department or guild that can make us or break us. We want to guarantee that we have somebody running our Resources Guild that, doesn't want to go to jail. That was pretty much how it was explained to me with the IRS on why they kind of recommended that our secretary be involved with our business management. The motion was passed with 5 votes, 1 abstain. I will continue to see the day-to-day operations while mentoring our newly minted Resources Guild Master, who is Mikey Grabley. Projects, nonprofitready.org has free courses. I have posted in our Scholars Guild the recommended curriculum for anybody who is either a project manager or a guild master or a board member. We are going to have the Resources Guild kind of help keep an eye on the website revamp and update, and that is because one of their jobs is our business managers and our secretaries to make sure that our websites are compliant and everything that we do is in compliance with the nonprofit private foundation guidelines. One of those things was having a monthly meeting. So the board meeting can meet, as infrequently as once a year, but your departments do have to meet once a month. Our next is our Scholars Guild. A motion was made to formally appoint Robin Fraser as the guild master. The motion passed with 5 votes, 1 abstain. I do have all projects on hold with the exception of the STEAMPunk unit until the websites are completed. And that is mostly because it is the creation of courses, and that is a lot to try to continue to juggle. The projects that fall under the Scholars Guild is the Haven of Dragon, and that is a world religious educational organization that merged with us at the beginning of the year. Our Learning Pavilion of Requiem, that is a focus on helping people with their GED or ESL, English as a second language, along with working on any, if say Six Sense Apothecary comes to the Scholars Guild and says, I want to give a demonstration on how to teach soap, how to make soap. The Learning Pavilion is going to overlook the course content and ensure that it is giving as factual information as possible in a safe manner, especially since there's chemicals being used, and ensuring that the content being delivered is something that people are going to understand. And of course, our STEAMPunk unit, and I really need to add in Space Station Requiem in there. I do not have a name for the academy that we're doing, other than probably Space Academy. I don't know, probably Requiem Guilds Academy. I'm not sure yet. That's something once we're to that point where we're creating specific courses, fun for Space Station Requiem, and we're creating curriculum and content for the STEAMPunk unit that can be used by schools or anybody who homeschools. Last but not least, it works all the same as our Technicians Guild. A motion was made to formally appoint Matthew Fraser as Guildmaster. That motion passed with 5 votes and 1 abstain. All projects are currently on hold as life is happening and time is limited. We have a lot of projects in the Agrarian Guild. Matt does work full-time for a construction company, which means when he comes home on the weekends, he's got 2 households that he needs to look at and say, okay, what broke during the week that I need to fix it? Or like in the case of a couple weekends ago where the temperatures were pushing over 100 degrees all day long, he's tired, man. I mean, that wears anybody out, and we don't need him getting sick. That's like the last thing we need. There are formally 2 projects within the Technicians Guild. The first one is Guild Services, and basically that's any minor repairs for low-income residents. The goal is to be affordable or barter for it. Guild Services, once we get Requiem's Gardens and Aquaponics going, which is a future project that is just in concept form right now, they will be the ones going out and building those aquaponic systems. Our other one is our Technician Guild Services. That is on hold until we have somebody who's looking to basically busk or do sideline gigs of computer network troubleshooting. As always, people needing to be able to have an income is more important. On the gilded projects, motion was made to the executive board committee that all new gilded projects have to be approved before forming. The reason this is that some of them started to get, everybody's like, oh, hey, I got this idea. And the next thing I know, there's pages and groups and stuff. And, and I know some of that's my fault for not putting my foot down, but we are now going to have a formal standard operating procedure for any gilded projects. And what it is if you have an idea for a gilded project that you would like to pitch, you pitch it to your guild master that it would fall under. So like with the Guardians Guild one, that would be pitched to the Guardians Guild. The name of the project, it should include Guild or Requiem in some way, shape, or form of the title. The scope of the project, and that basically is answering who, what, where, when, why, and how. If there's any anticipated budget needs or marketing needs, and depending on the urgency of the Gilded project need, it may have to wait until an annual board meeting for us to vote on it, or something like the first aid station that needed to happen formally before Ren Fair. You know, we were able to say, okay, this is a mini project we've already been doing. We now need to make it its own Gilded project that somebody is overseeing. And so that is the difference between those two things. Now we are on the Space Station Requiem. We're going to overview of some of the upcoming changes. We will go through departmental reports, including the executive officer, communications, operations, medical services, engineering, and search and rescue. And I think we actually have those listed in the slides actually in different orders, but that's okay. Anticipated changes. We will be migrating away from the single recognizable fandom and immerse our members in our own multi-universe. It was pointed out to me that there was a lot of confusion as to, you know, well, I'm into Marvel Universe, and since you're obviously Star Trek, well, then I'm not interested in your group. I had a lot of, for every 5 compliments that I've gotten on our multiverse backstory, I've gotten at least one that's like, that's not canon for Star Trek. You need to take that crap down. Because they couldn't wrap their brain around that it's a multiverse, multi-universe, even with Marvel coming out with the multiverse and MCU. I do have a uniform prototype in progress. It cost me about $50 for the material, thread, and notions, which are buttons and zippers and everything else. I basically have a PDF pattern that is adjustable. I trace it onto craft paper. I label what size it's for. I am anticipating the retail value is actually $150, not $100, because it's the retail is double of my wholesale. Active Space Station Requiem members and Guilds of Requiem members, it will be $75. That's our wholesale price. So Mikey, before we publish this PowerPoint out onto the website or anyone else, we need to update the retail value on there. The other anticipated changes is we need assistance with locating a new print-on-demand company. The reason this is Printify has now increased their prices almost every single month for the last 5 months. Me as a consumer would not pay $50 for a t-shirt. I don't care how awesome that t-shirt is, and it could be signed by my favorite actor. I'm still not going to pay that kind of money for it. The last thing I'm going to do is ask somebody to come onto our website, see our stuff, and pay $50 for a t-shirt that, you know, was basically crap when it got received. Part of that is, you know, our graphics need to be updated a little bit. They de-rezzed out, which I was okay with when I was looking at the prototype and when they sent me the sample. But what got sent out to some people that purchased them off of our website did not match what I had to have for my sample. The jackets were supposed to be cold weather bomber jackets, and the 3 of them have been purchased now. They're telling me that no, they're better for a cool spring day. In accordance with migrating away from the single recognizable fandom, we are working on our own unique com badge. And it has access to a 3D printer, which I cannot begin to tell you how thrilled that makes me, because I've got so many ideas in my head. On to departmental reporting. As you can see, as soon as Mikey hits enter, Mikey, next.
Yeah. Sorry. I lost you for a minute.
Oh, that's okay. Okay, how did we go from department? Oh, did I not have departmental reporting on there?
Yeah. It's right there.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, as you can see, we kind of named some things. View from center seat, been that way for a while. Second Thoughts has been there for a while. Communications and Operations decided that their voices in the dark. Our Engineering and Search and Rescue have decided they're going to seize the day. Our Medical and Sciences is that man creates himself. And our Security and Marines have said, you know what, we're guardians. We're here to protect and serve. Okay, now I don't have these available to me, so I'm just going to have to read off as Mikey puts them up. View from the center seat. The current commanding officers team will remain, quote unquote, in command with regards to Starfleet Command Quadrant 1 for the foreseeable future. Essentially, that boils down to we both have lifetime memberships. Space Station Requiem is never going to go away as a unit in Starfleet Command. It's also, helpful that, we understand Guilds of Requiem and we understand the duality of legally we fall under Guilds of Requiem for Space Station Requiem. That's the only way to put it. No other entity can tell us what we can and cannot do. And we're still seeing a little bit of some people trying to tell us what we can and cannot do. And I have a sign for them. It is not a polite sign, but it involved with sending them out the airlock and getting them off of my timeline and banning them from our page. And reported to the necessary organizations that, the no-name person was trying to tell us how to run our chapter to continue to be a part of their organization, and they were not even anybody in charge. Oh yeah, by the way, the whippings will continue until morale improves, not to be confused with morals. We will still encourage membership in Starfleet Command, but we will no longer be offering a lifetime membership as a participation award. Our annual memberships and awards will be put forth to the Executive Board in January 2023 as to what goes with the awards besides a pretty certificate and a pin. An alternative option that has been tossed out there is that we can give them an equivalent gift card to any of the e-stores as a part of Guilds of Requiem, whether it's Space Station Requiem or the STEAMPunk unit, SSR STEAMPunk unit, So that's gonna expect to see that in front of the boards pretty soon, because I do want to be able to set funds. I need to know if we need to locate funding to pay for memberships or the gift cards or whatever. Go ahead and hit that for the next page.
Already done.
That's yours. Okay, I can't say it. That's yours, man.
Woohoo!
That's yours. Executive Officer.
All right. So what I am working on right now is reading 2 different books and taking the online classes that Robin had mentioned to gain more knowledge of the nonprofits, how they work, how to report things, etc. So I'm taking in a lot of information. I started these today as well, taking the online classes in event management to gain more knowledge on how to build a stronger ability to plan, run, and promote events. I'm also continuing to learn more about Space Station Requiem, Guilds of Requiem, all the programs, guilds, and entities included under the umbrella of Guilds of Requiem. Because as y'all can see, there is a lot of information and I need to start writing everything down. I am also wanting to learn more ways to fundraise for the entire Guilds of Requiem. I did talk to somebody today who's going to be sending me some information to the email about a fundraising opportunity. And of course, I have to continue to do this. I keep slacking in some places, but I'm going to step up. I can't talk today. Step up to take more active roles to help Robin, especially lately with everything that's been going on. And then I'm also looking into more marketing classes, online books, all of that stuff. So I'm trying to take in a lot of information to start expanding my knowledge so that we can also expand into the Guilds of Requiem, my knowledge, to help do everything we need to do to make it successful. Yeah.
Our communications and operations, Jeff is with family this evening. He is still trying to recoup and recover and figure out what his new daily life is going to look like. So that has been a emotional and physical drain on him, which I 250% understand.
Yeah.
We did have some minor website updates, which was in the form of adding a donate now in the header and the footer of the website. I got great big kudos from the state comptroller and from the IRS for the fact that I allow people to make, when you go to our donate now page, you can either make a general donation to Guilds of Requiem, or you can put one of our projects or guilds to donate specifically to. Our domain name for Space Station Requiem finally got converted over to Wix. We did pay for 3 years of our domain. That was at the beginning of the month. I could have swore we had done this already back in 2020 or 2021. But I got notice to renew the domain name, and I'm like, why is this coming from somewhere other than Wix? And that's when I discovered that it never fully transferred over to Wix. So that has now been taken care of. We are highly encouraging everyone to start using the website forums versus social media. When all of our Instagram accounts got deactivated, I was seeing a lot of people on Facebook and on MeWe complaining that they have now lost all their followers because their account got deactivated. And they're now having to reestablish a new brand and identity to get their followers back on Instagram. So someone on MeWe said that Facebook shut down their Instagram. Because those who aren't aware, Meta owns Facebook and Instagram. That's why we're able to use the Meta business off of Facebook to post to both Facebook and Instagram. And so getting shut down on one platform will possibly get you shut down on the other one. Engineering, search and rescue, gearing up for VanTuckyCon. That is probably, y'all are probably going to be sick of hearing about it from me. Back up, went too far. Oh, never mind. I was looking at my own screen. Let me shut my screen down.
Here's 50/50. So, trouble accessing.
Stop.
So we do have a need for volunteers to help the event run smoothly, and we'll get to that more with the VanTuckyCon slide. Go ahead and go to the next department. Medicals and sciences. I ain't gonna try speaking Latin today. Man creates himself. They have begun networking with the Guardians Guild to enhance the reach of the entire network. That is to include the fandoms. Many fandoms ask their quote-unquote medical department to be first aid CPR certified at their own expense. So this is some way in which we can help network out into those other fandoms to help them meet their minimal needs for safety at an event. Anybody can be in medical or sciences on Space Station Requiem. You do not have to be in the medical field or even have a knowledge of science or medicine. You just need to be interested in performing in community service. That is actually the primary goal for our medicals and sciences departments on Space Station Requiem, is that medical is looking at what can I do locally, physically, in person, and sciences, what can I do to help my community that it doesn't matter where I'm at, I can still help this cause. We are going to limit the Guardians Guild to those who are actually in a first responder career. They can either be current, retired, or whatever. Same way with our frontline workers. That's all of our medical fields. Includes all medical fields, even veterinary services, along with the military. They can be inactive, reservists, honorably discharged, medically discharged. The only ones that we will not accept is dishonorably discharged, because I can guarantee you there's something in their background check that's going to disqualify them from being a member of our Guardians Guild. Go ahead and go to the next one. Security and Marines.
There we go.
Is going to be in charge of that's okay. Is going to be in charge of our Bantucky Con volunteers. I'm asking them to assist with locating a suitable event location. It is also open to anyone who wants to assist without regard to their department or guild. Essentially, if you see a need out there that we have published and you think you can fill it, please speak up and get with myself or Mikey or Matt and say, you know, I think I can do this. This is how I can help. This is the time commitment that I can make towards this. And I believe we are to the STEAMPunk unit. We had a massive security breach. The STEAMPunk unit website, all of a sudden started getting flooded with requests of new members to join. But there was no membership form with them. It was just a request to join the website. We have it plainly stated on our website that if you do not complete the Google form to join that tells us who you are, where you live, are you joining as just an adult? Do you have kids? Are you a teacher? I want to know who's joining in my youth program. I do not want any mystery people out there in our youth organization or our youth program, because that right there is, to me, is a red flag of danger. As a parent, if I saw that there were just no name people in a youth organization, I wouldn't join it. So, you know, I 150% go with the philosophy that if it's not something I wouldn't do, I'm not going to ask somebody else to do it. So what this means is that we do attempt to email the person joining that we need them to complete our Google membership form, telling us who they are. And basically what I think it was like, I think Mikey took care of 4. I've taken care of almost 20 that when we've emailed them, the email bounces back to us. So that tells me that they're potential fraudsters or scammers trying to join the group. We recently ran into that with the Guilds of Requiem, and basically it was a bunch of Gmail addresses that was hello everybody and a bunch of numbers. So we automatically decline those. Bantucky Con activities, we do need activity coordinators, and we need volunteers, and we're not saying that you're going to be in charge of everything. We're asking somebody with a science background. You know, let's make sure we've got a couple science-specific activities at the event. Vending is 10 a.m. until 6 p.m., and then we try to have an evening component of stargazing. I mean, if you want to try to find somebody who can actually has the telescope and the knowledge to do stargazing, that's pretty much what we're looking for, because we think we have a location, but they haven't written me back yet. If you know something about technology, you know, just a couple of them in there. You know, that's what we're looking for coordinating the different activities. We don't want you to take over all, you know, you're not going to be responsible for everything. You're just going to be responsible for one small portion. Okay, Ren Fair recap. We had over 800 people in attendance. Captain Jack was a major hit with everybody. Him and his Black Pirate crew have joined the Bards Guild. Financial wise, we initially budgeted $2,000. Our actual expenditures was $3,906.61, of which we had $3,000 in sponsorships from different businesses in the form of things actually purchased. And we only had 2 of them that donated cash to us. The rest all looked at my wish list, asked me for a wish list, and they bought off of that. We collected $1,498.93 in vendor fees. So our grand total in the positive is $592.32. Our guest feedback has been almost all positive. I did have a couple of them that they weren't happy. It's like, I'm sorry, you know, if people don't show up, we have no control over that. We can't force somebody to show up who doesn't want to be there or is unable to be there. And that's where we're going to leave that. BantuckyCon, the hunt for this year's location is on. Our minimum needs are we do need power availability. Food vendors will have a priority over just a regular vendor. We are looking for 1 to 2 acres of space. Easy to locate. Preferably have restrooms. If not, we will have to reevaluate our budget to include porta potties or see if buddies will, you know, will graciously donate a couple of porta potties for the weekend. Our wants, we have a $500 budget again for the venue, or the venue being willing to take a percentage of the vendor fees. We are asking that the venue be actively involved in promoting of the event. That made a world of difference between 2020 and 2022, is having the venue be enthusiastic about our event being there. Our theme this year is Cowboys and Aliens. The exact email address to reach BantuckyCon only is bantuckycon@gmail.com. Webpage is under construction. I hope to have it all done by June 1st. I think I've got one more page. So June 1st, that is our that is my deadline for applications and everything else to be on searchable and found on the websites, and to start putting on all the convention sites and everything else is June 1st. Activity coordinators, we are going to ask that you be available for anywhere from a 30-minute to an hour-long meeting on the first and third Sunday afternoons, and that's every month leading up to BantuckyCon. I want to make sure that we don't have a breakdown in who's doing what, where, when, and why. I really would like to see everybody involved with the coordination of this event so that it goes smoothly. We will have an application for anybody who sells convention merchandise. The aim for that is, you know, if somebody comes up to me and says, I do anime, and this person says, I do Pokemon, and this other person is Marvel, this, you know, that's what I mean by convention merchandise. Business sponsors, we can start the hunt now. That made a world of difference on Ren Fair, is having business sponsors. We do have that carrot now that we can dangle in front of them, that we're a nonprofit, so their donation to us becomes a tax write-off. When we sign up our food truck and food vendors, that's a food vendor is somebody who is preparing food or has hot or cold food that they need to keep at a temperature to serve it. We need to know what their power consumption is going to be. We had a couple of surprises over the weekend at Ren Fair, but we're going to make sure that, you know, it's stated out plainly to everybody. If the only places we can have power is going to be up in that food truck and the food court, then that's what people need to know. Handcrafted vendors are going to have preference over direct sales or MLM affiliate vendors. Anyone who's retail resale, that includes the direct sell and MLM, we're only allowing one of each. So say Avon comes and approaches us, that's great, fantastic, but no pharmacy, no Mary Kay. I don't know, we might have to look at that. But if we have somebody who makes jewelry, which I can guarantee you that we will, then paparazzi is not going to be able to vend at our event. The caveat to that is because our vending fees are considered donations now. If paparazzi comes up to me and says, here, I've got $50 and I want to take advantage of the booth to self-promote, then I have to allow it. That's the big caveat. I am probably going to set all the business sponsors up by the first aid station and the check-in tent, no matter where we're at, so that they're going to kind of be separate from the main event. And I can't read that last little bit. Other nonprofits, Anybody who is in a nonprofit that wants to network with us or be at our event, we are going to have a very specific contract in which everybody is agreeing to what the other party is responsible for, including a 5 hours minimum of volunteer work that can either be before the event in the form of helping set up, during the event with being runners, trash, cleanup, whatever, or after the event with taking down and ensuring that the location is cleaner than when we got there. And they also need to be actively promoting their presence at Nantuckycon. That was a financial lesson that we learned, that the promotion has to happen all the way around. That includes the vendors, that includes the entertainers, that includes the food trucks. If somebody's going to be at this event, then they need to be advertising that they're going to be at our events. That I'm going to start coming down on that very, very hard. That was one of our biggest costs, was advertising for people who ended up not showing up. And that is everything that we've got. Is there any questions about things? All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop the live feed here. Disconnect audio, whiteboard, chat, maybe. Well, hell, how do I turn off the live feed? Sorry, my mouth is potty today. Chat, disable live transcript. Okay, that was that one. Full transcript, meeting settings, minimize meeting, whiteboard, disconnect audio. I think that's for me. Close. Mikey, can you see if on your side if it lets you stop our live feed?
Unmute myself. Where would I see that information at?
That would be down at the bottom.
All I have is mute, stop video, participants, chat, share, and closed caption.
Stop the what?
Stop video.
Okay, try doing that.
That's for my video. That's me.
Oh, it's for your video? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, hell, I'm gonna have to go into YouTube and stop it manually then. Okay, I'm gonna kick out of the meeting, and I'm gonna come back and see if that does it. Unless
Okay.
everybody wants to say goodbye because we've made our hour.
Bye, guys.